Alright, race number 1 was an absolute cracker here for Lobby B. I'm excited to crack into race number 2. The feature race, we always hype this up. We had the shootout actually earlier, and it's really shaken the grid up here in race number 2. We've got Richaado on pole ahead of Lapwing, and podium getter from the previous race, Airborne, is way down the back. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds, and I'm excited to crack into it. Here we are then in the feature race, Tokyo South Inner Loop, if I'm not mistaken, and the lights are on because we are dark at night time, and we are away and racing with Richaado off the line at the front. Mustang Lover's got an absolute blinding start and just jumping positions from the back. I talked about it earlier, how these a little bit mixed up positions after our shootout format. Drivers only had one lap to set the fastest lap they can, and it's Lapwing and Richaado who were able to make the most of that, and Lapwing able to make the most of the start of this race, getting through turn 1 cleanly, getting away into the lead. Mustang Lover already up to 3rd, up there with Night Shift. What a turnaround in the space of one corner.
Lapwing's out for revenge. He doesn't like that 10-second penalty. He got saddled.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
Oh no! Big moment into turn 1. Carnage. Sorry, turn 2. Absolute carnage. If we get a replay now of just what happened here at turn number 2. Someone's late on the brakes. It might. Oh, it was actually in that mid-pack. It was all very close, and a lot of drivers out in the wall. And that is going to be a game changer potentially for some of these guys. Meanwhile, Honorably Airborne, I talked about him starting at the back. He's managed to get his way up into the podium places already. So massive job getting through all of that early race madness.
Ooh, taking a wide and having a kiss on the wall. He is wanting to gain time on our mate Nismonath in P2. That's full send as we get onto the tail end of his first lap.
You love to see it, these drivers pushing to the absolute maximum as we take a look at that Sky Sport Racing livery here from Honorably Airborne. Love to see it. Then Dr. Shocker in the Rich Energy in behind him, trying to hunt him down and squiggling all over the place as he tries to stabilize their car. As these front 3 kind of form a pack and broken away a little bit from the guys further down, where we see these guys come back. Of course, it's a long race here as JW Racing goes down the inside of Richaado. Richaado losing spots, showed speed in that shootout format, but just losing spots, maybe not having the confidence here at the start of the race. JW Racing, though, flying as he tries to get forward.
Richaado won't be in love with that little sequence. He probably fancied a move on the outside, but JW Racing held his nerve, forced him wide, and lost him a lot of turn as they fly through these S's. And a little kiss of the wall there. I wonder if that'll open the door for Major Havoc of Ping Zero to get himself into this fight.
Yes, there we go. Richado's now going to make another move, getting a nice exit out of the final corner. And he has just gone cleanly past JW Racing, just like that. And that, again, a great livery on his car as well. Good to get a close-up look of Richaado coming in, tuning in from Japan, in fact. So we love to have it. We welcome all comers to the MMC series, so long as you're willing to be up at the right time that suits the New Zealand time zone. 7 p.m. NZ time is when we kick things off, and that's just managed to work out by Richaado, rushing home from work so he can get some racing in. And now, side by side, some great racing here against JW. Manages to keep the position as well. What a good effort as they catch up to 3rd and 4th in front of them. So there might have been a bit of a tussle between those guys as now this big battle pack is starting to form. Side by side, Richaado got past it. He made the move. We're talking this man up and he's living up to our expectations. What a move from Richaado.
Absolutely hunting down Honorably Airborne through the tunnel section.
Right, there we go. So I'm just taking a look here at the stats, and what we are seeing is Richaado on the medium tyres. Something we haven't mentioned yet in this race is the strategy that these guys have. They've got option of hards and mediums, and they have to use the hards at some point during the race. So Richaado opting for the mediums to start the one, and he's using that to his advantage at the moment, gaining those positions. And that is JW Racing pulling in behind him, who is on those hard compactor tyres. So different strategy here in race number 2, here in the feature race.
As they are all scrapping out and trying to make their various strategies work. Someone who's sitting pretty at the moment, 2.5 seconds clear of P2 up the road, is TMLapwing. He's got a set of hard tyres on, getting them out of the way early, and he'll be enjoying the fact that he can kind of like sit, almost dictate the pace of this race, and it's really up to him when he wants to come in.
100% on that one. He's really setting the stage here and got a nice comfortable lead actually, even on those hard compounded tyres. So showing some great speed early on. We sure saw him in that front battle in race number 1. Here in race number 2, doing a great job once again, just trying to control at the front. He's got Nismonath though, hunting him down in behind, not too far behind, and looking to find any opportunity he can. And now Richaado, who is emerging in that 3rd position, finding himself in a little bit more space as he gets away from that 4th and 5th battle.
Yeah, it's a tough day in the office for Nismonath. He's sort of on an island at the moment, 2.5 seconds clear of Richaado, but falling away to 3 seconds behind Lapwing. He's got the tough decision of trying to burn up his tires and try and make it onto the rear bumper of Lapwing, or just kind of sit as he is and maybe try and undercut. It's tough for where he is at the moment. I don't envy his position. Yeah,
definitely. The options of going with a slightly different strategy is there. They also have to think about fuel consumption as well. So maybe Nismonath just in here trying to save a little bit of fuel as he's just, as you say, on a little bit of an island. He's not going to get that fuel delivery shipment coming through. He's going to have to come to the pits at some stage during this race. But for the time being, sitting pretty and driving nice and clean during these opening stages. 13 laps, of course, here at the south inner loop as we head down into the big hairpin. A lot of back and forth in the midfield. Oh, it's JW going into the pits. He's the first one to blink, coming off those hard compound of tyres. I believe he was in 6th position when he came in, and now it's crucial to get the timing right when you come back out of the pits here. So he's not going to have any traffic, but he's also not going to have any slipstream as he comes back out on the hard compound, on the mediums, sorry.
Yeah, he's gone from hard to medium.
He's gone from hard to medium. Yeah, I'll get that right eventually as he now sets about and really extend that life on the medium tyres. We're seeing the 6 times tyre wear in this race, so they can really use those mediums for quite some time. And we expect to see the guys that are starting on the mediums, they'll keep using them right towards the end of the race.
We've got the beginnings of a scrap forming here in P6 with our mate Major Havoc. He's on the rear bumper of Airborne, and there is a tyre difference of Havoc on the mediums and Airborne, who is rolling on a set of hards. Havoc probably a little frustration. He'd probably prefer the clear air and to, build some speed into his laps. And Airborne is kind of in the driver's seat of this little battle as he can kind of keep him behind and build up an advantage if he's aware of what's going on.
So here we are on lap number 4, and Richaado, we're going to have to clear up how you pronounce it. He's closing in on the back here of Nismonath, and Nismonath actually not too far away from Lapwing as well, so the Lapwing hasn't really extended his advantage too much in the last couple of laps, but definitely Richaado is coming right back into this fight for 2nd place. Both of these guys using those medium tyres to really set some great lap times out here.
Since we last checked in, Richaado's carved a whole 2 seconds out of Nismonath, who has himself managed to put 6/10 gains onto Lapwing. So a bit of movement throughout this field, and it really adds a layer of curiosity with how this will all unfold.
On board now with Richaado as he tries to hunt down Nismonath, and you can see him using the full rev range of this car, trying to blast and trying to close that gap, using the slipstream now through these corners. Can he try and maybe think about a move down into the hairpin? It's a big heavy braking zone. It's a great opportunity if you do have a good run. Is he going to be close enough? It looks like he is. Is Nismonath going to defend? No, Nismonath leaves the door open, and Richado's just going to slip right on in down the inside. Although he goes too deep, Nismonath does cross back. What a cross back there from Nismonath. He was aware of what was happening. You saw him sort of just give up the inside quite easily. I suspect he knew exactly what was coming as they headed into that tight hairpin. These guys still flying around the circuit, setting purple sectors as they try and gain any position, gain any advantage, close in as well on the Lapwing. That gap coming down now to 1.7 as Richado's using the distraction techniques. It's flashing the lights.
Flashing the lights are getting all
but he's
out of
distracting
sorts.
himself.
He's got full commitment, and we're only like 5 of 13. He's got half a tank of gas and a bad attitude as he flies through the sector. It costs 8/10 with that little sector 3 kerfuffle. I love the effort, and the excitement he's bringing is huge. But I just really hope he doesn't end up paying for it later in the race, because as we tend to learn, the bill always comes due when it comes to strategies like fuel saving and these sorts of races.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point in it. Oh, I was going to say, let's look at that, but first let's keep an eye on this battle, because now Richaato's again going for that inside line here on Nismonath. Is he going to pull it up this time? Whoa! Nismonath out sideways as he tries to cross it back. Manages to gather it all up, but doesn't get the position back. He hangs on to third position. What a wild moment there between these two.
Richaado might just get out of this one alive, because if we compare the fuel levels, he's got the burn advantage at the moment. Nismonath might be in trouble with this loss of track position.
That is interesting. So Richaato's managed to close the gap and save just a touch more fuel than Nismonath has. So Nismonath in that clear air for such a long time in this race has not been able to use that common strategy we see in GT Sport, where you tuck into someone's slipstream, change gears early, maybe lift off a little bit as well, heading into corners just to save that fuel, but use the slipstream to keep the speed up. He hasn't had that opportunity. Now in behind Richaado, is he going to go for a move straight away, or is he going to maybe try and save some fuel through this middle phase of the race? Oh my goodness! Richaado! Okay, it's lag. It's lag. Yikerumba.
Cut that bit out.
So here we go with Chrono Monkey Math. We haven't crossed the halfway point. We're reaching the halfway point now, and it's Lapwing who's leading ahead of Richaado, ahead of Nismonath. These three all very close together. Take the chance now. Not looking like there's going to be a move heading into the next corner. We might take the chance to flip through the field. We've got Honorably Airborne, the best of the rest, in a fourth position. Kind of on his own a little bit in this position as well. He's running the hard compound tyres though, so we might see him come back into this race towards the end. He's actually running those hard compound tyres much longer than what we saw in the other lobby, so it'll be interesting how that all sort of unravels itself, as it tends to do towards the end of these races. That's Honorably Airborne in fourth. Then fifth place, JW Racing. We saw him in the lead of the previous one. He managed to actually cross the line in first, but just got penalised for using the wrong car at the end of the day. He's doing alright there in fifth. Not quite as up front towards the pointy end as we might have expected after that first race performance, but not too bad, none of the same. And then he's got Mustang Lover, his rival from race 1, in and behind him, and Major Havoc not too far away in 7th spot. So there's still plenty of racing to come, plenty to unfold in this race. And Hoonigan on the front of Major Havoc. Ken Block, we love all the liveries we're seeing, all the different inspirations coming out. As he closes on the back of Mustang Lover.
It is a very cool look with that that dazzle camouflage look. It's pretty cool.
And the glowing brakes here in the night at Tokyo Expressway. Both drivers getting a little bit squiggly as they get the power down on the exit. Honorably Airborne has come into the pits off those hard compounded tyres, and he's back out again in 8th position on those mediums. He's going to use that. It's good to have that cider, I think, in front of him. Use that as a guide as he tries to get the maximum out of these mediums after just taking that pit stop. Fresh tyres always it sort of takes a little bit to get mentally back into it and get the tyres warmed up. And then he's going to be straight on the attack, no doubt about that.
He'll be feeling pretty lucky if he can get these tyres switched on and burn off the 2/10 left on his penalty, because he's right on the bumper of Dr. Shocker, who might be able to tow him back up to where he wants to be.
100%. Dr. Shocker, one of the fast drivers in this lobby as well. Oh, sorry, all the drivers are particularly quick, but we saw he was towards the pointy end in the previous race in qualifying, but just unfortunate start to the race. And it found himself in 7th for the time being, and now getting overtaken here by Airborne, who is wasting no time coming through the field after that pit stop. Around the outside though, this is still going to be tough to do it. Late on the brakes, and he managed to get it turned in, so great move, quick, opportunistic, just straight through. He's done the goods, and up 7th. We're just going to jump to a replay now, because I believe there's been a change for the lead. Richaado all over the back of Lapwing. He's been showing great pace earlier through the, well, sorry, not early on, through the middle phase of this race. And now, there's a little bit of contact as they get through turn 1, and Richaado moves on up into first position. Lapwing has been caught out with the penalty.
Bad goes to worse. He carried 4.5 seconds once we joined him with the action. He's picked up another 5 seconds for his trouble, give or take. He's sitting at 11.5 going into the hairpin. That's going to be a big ask to clear off the board and stay ahead of Nismonath.
This is just a hard luck story here for Lapwing tonight. He picked up penalties in the first race, didn't seem to be particularly his fault. He's picked up a lot of penalties here in race number 2. He's still showing plenty of speed, so he can definitely take that encouragement out of this one, and he is in a prime position here on the hard compounded tyres, but definitely a tough night for that man.
Commiserations for TMLapwing. His race is turning out like my Steam library. Grim Fandango at the top.
So coming back live, and we are seeing the pit stop from Lapwing as he comes in off those hard compounded tyres. He's going to put some fuel in as well. You can see down to just 20% now, and then he's going to be back out and hard charging towards the end of this race. Remember, everyone does have to use the hard compounded tyres at some point, so we do expect the leaders to be pitting back in towards the end of the race. Mustang Lover choosing to pit now as well. So it is Richaado who's leading out on track ahead of Nismonath, and then of course the battle is going to unfold with Lapwing for the effective lead of the race, but now it's all about setting some quick lap times and trying to get that undercut or overcut depending on who you are.
Nismonath's got 4 laps to do the business. He's got to close up about 3 to 4 tenths and then get past, so it's all to do and not a lot of resources to go for. He's racing on those mediums, and I think their tyres are about equal, give or take, for life, but when we last checked in on their fuel levels, he was in behind. He might be tucking in and like doing the save now, but it's a lot to make up with not a lot of time left on the board.
Exactly, we are getting down to the pointy end. See these guys make their pit stops shortly, and it'll all resolve itself. We'll really see how these guys stack up. And speaking of seeing things, seeing how great these camera angles and how great these cars look here in Gran Turismo Sport. I absolutely love it.
Trying to do very well to keep his car tidy to that sweeper. He's chucking it around there like it's on rails.
So special shout out to Richaado. He's set up this livery. He's originally from the UK, now living in Japan, and he's set up the livery to sort of pay homage to that. You can see on the left hand side he's got the British flag there in the minor details on the side mirror and on the rear wing. And then on the right hand side, there we go, a little shot of it there, the Japanese flag on that side as well as they come into the pits. So both our leaders into the pits. You can see Richaado there visibly saved quite a lot more fuel than Nismonath. He's going to have a shorter pit stop here as a result, and that could allow him to jump and gain a little bit more of a gap. But it's JW Racing who jumps ahead, but JW Racing still hasn't pitted, so it's going to be, keep an eye on how this one all plays out. Richaado in the effective lead of this race. Lapwing in second. Actually, sorry, I say JW Racing hasn't pitted. Has he pitted? I believe he might have pitted actually at the start.
Yeah, he boxed early, I believe.
So JW Racing with the alternate strategy to the leaders, and it's come out in front, setting some flying lap times as we head towards the end of the race. It is Richaado in behind him. Lapwing, they've pitted right close to each other. Different strategies. They've come out of the pits right next to each other once again. Then Nismonath just a little bit further back after having to refuel a little bit longer, but plenty of opportunity to catch up. Still 4 laps to go. 3 and a lot of the 4th lap. Almost 4. Just under 4 laps.
The tragedy of TMLapwing, the wise, he's still got 9.7 seconds of his penalty to burn. That puts him at roughly an effective like P6 or worse, with Nismonath, Major Havoc, and Airborne currently inside that window.
Alright, we head on to lap number 11. We are starting to see the field spread out a little bit more now. Everyone's kind of found their spot. This battle, though, still going on, heated between Lapwing and Richaado. And we do have official word from the stewards that JW Racing is using the wrong car once again. So unfortunately, he's found himself in the GT3 car. He's, of course, a one to make in the Gr.X R.S.01 Trophy. It's the way this, the R.S.01 Renault. I should really work out what the official name is. But it's the way this car was originally intended to be raced, the Gr.X version. It's full spec race car, one to make series, designed to go fast, and that's what we're out here in. But unfortunately, JW Racing got it wrong, so he is going to be docked positions at the end of the race, and that means our effective leader, effective fight for the win is between Lapwing and Richaado, and Lapwing right now has just managed to eke out a little bit of a gap here. So Richaado drops back in that effectively second spot, and Lapwing trying to make a move for the lead anyway. He won't have heard the official word from our stewards. Of course, he's just focusing on his driving, going as fast as he can, as he's thinking about the inside, down into the hairpin. Can he get it done? Ghosting a little bit there as he's got that penalty, and they go through each other, and it's a unconventional sort of crossbacky kind of situation. But he comes out, doesn't quite manage to get past JW Racing, and that brings Richaado. Sim race special. It doesn't work out on that occasion, and Richaado is caught right back up.
Unfortunately for Nismonath, it'll be the end of the race feeling like the start. He is 6 seconds away from Richaado at the moment, again on his island, because it's 4 seconds again to airball, and so he's probably feeling a little bit bad. It's a big feels bad man that he's just that little bit too far from the podium step at the moment. He'd been having a good race.
Exactly, he's showing some great speed, but just hasn't quite fallen his way in this particular race. Sitting comfortably in 4th position though, which is still a great effort when you think of the level of drivers we've got in this series. He's going well. Honorary airborne in the background, I think, has got himself a little bit of a penalty as well, so just cutting the circuit there or maybe running up against the wall. And it's just a little frustration when you're a driver. A little frustration, you see that come through and you know what you've done wrong, you know how easy it would have been to avoid it. And then there's Mustang Lover currently in 6th, our race 1 winner. And then Night Shift and Major Havoc, Dr. Shocker, and then down, do we have the full team?
Hard stop in New Zealand will be up here too.
Great to see it's great to see big grids here in the R.S.01 Trophy. Round number 1 tonight. There's still plenty more action to come through the coming month. Every Monday night, tune in to twitch.tv/monkeymate to see it live. We love bringing you these races here from the series. Both lobbies putting on an absolute show here tonight as they fighting for this lead. Richaado now has found his way past Lapwing. He's looking to try and get past JW Racing as well. To the inside, can he get it done? He can! Up into 1st, but Lapwing's crossing back. Lapwing gets past JW Racing as well. Richaado is so close to putting it in the fence and having a big spin there. He's just managed to tidy it up and get away with it.
Richaado's racing is downright flamboyant. He got all out of sorts, tapped the rear end on exit, and is just like flourishing his way through this high-speed section. Like, hats off, that was a daring move.
It is a brave racing style, but it is working for him here at Tokyo Expressway. Now he's got Lapwing still to contend with as we head on to the final lap. JW Racing just falling off the back just a touch. There's these front two go side by side into turn number 1. Richaado on the inside. Surely he's got it done. Yes, he has. Lapwing trying to cross back and find an opportunity. Now he's got the slipstream though as we head down into the dockyard section. Can he make something work? Richado's going to defend the inside. Lapwing accepts the outside. He goes for it side by side down the straight. Is he going to have enough momentum to get past? I'll hold my breath now as they go side by side through the corner. Who's going to emerge? Still they go side by side.
Whoa.
Just managing to hang on. Richado's doing everything he needs to, positioning his car so it's as hard as it can be for Lapwing to get past.
Just a brilliant piece of driving to hold your nerve through that like extended right-hander hairpin thing, and like not losing the back end when you need to switch those directions through that weird chicane, the chicane of penalty punishment for the first split. Just excellent showing all around to keep Lapwing at bay, who has now managed to carve out like 9 of his 11-second penalty that he had like laps ago.
Oh man, and I'm just getting excited watching this because Lapwing's switching. Whoa, JW Racing! JW Racing goes flying down the inside. He just absolutely full send, do or die. He ends up dying, drops down to 3rd, and this front battle, I think Lapwing and all of that has just managed to get past. The Sim Racing Special has worked for him on that occasion. So you gets past Richaado for the lead of this race, still with that penalty hanging over his name though. Is it Richaado there flashing his lights? I'm seeing a lot of flashing going on as he tries to play the distraction game. Down through the final corner. It's not going to be doing it. It's going to be Lapwing who crosses the line in 1st position. What an absolute drive from both these guys though. Lapwing crosses the line in 1st. Richaado picks up 2nd, but a gets the race win due to the penalty, and then it is JW Racing in third. He's going to get a penalty himself for the wrong use of car there. Then it's Nismonath in fourth, Honorably Airborne, Tidy Race in fifth, then Mustang Lover sixth, Night Shift in seventh, and Major Havoc rounding out our top 8 here in Lobby B for race number 2 of the R.S.01 Trophy. And what a show it's been. That was a cracking race.
That was pretty amazing stuff from Lobby B. They're really putting on shows like from liveries to action on track to let you know that you can't sleep on anyone in the MMC. I mean, TMLapwing, even though he knows he's got a 2.9 second penalty and he's got to settle for that P2, he still wants to prove he's the fastest out there on the track. That sim racing special was like, I never thought I'd see in sim racing the teleports behind you meme, because that overtake on Richaado was full on Omaiwa mo Shindeiru, which is pretty fitting for Tokyo Expressway. But no, it's just awesome displays, and good to see that Richaado can get a win on essentially his home track.
Yeah, wasn't that great to see? He had a rough race 1 and then just to bounce back and completely flip it on its head. I believe he picked up pole as well in the shootout, so just specialist almost on that south in a loop particular. But what a cracking race. I'm glad we got to tune in and see it. Unfortunately, we don't have time to fit everything in live on stream, but yeah, we'll chuck these videos out because it is still great racing throughout all the different lobbies we have in the MMC Championship. But that is it, round 1 of the R.S.01 Trophy. As I say, it's great fun stuff. There's still plenty more to come in the future rounds. We're heading to America next with Big Willow and Laguna Seca, so tune in next week for that one. Keep an eye out on all of the socials as well for all the content we'll be posting. I need to still catch right.
Yeah, just keep an eye on our socials. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. The Monkey Mat Discord is a great place to get updated on like the state of the tournament, where you'll be hitting each week. Get a little insider knowledge on what'll be happening. Otherwise, just tune into the stream, or we'll keep you informed on all that's good.
Brilliant. Cheers, everyone. Stay awesome.
Good time for me.
I'm giving hand signals and I'm still talking, so I'll definitely cut that out.